From the Daily Mail. I'm dating a man who earns 10 times less than I do. It doesn't bother me, but my friends say I should dump him. Because the relationship, well, it'll never work. Well, I can guarantee it'll never work if you keep these friends because they're going to be constantly chattering in your ear. Of course, women are very susceptible to peer pressure, much more so than men. So, yeah, I would agree. It'll never work. Because, she's not going to get rid of her friends. The sisterhood, which keeps her down and unhappy because misery does love company. Anyway, before I get into this story, I would like to ask those of you out there that like and appreciate the raw red pill nature of my content, please go check out my channel on BitChute. BitChute.com/The Realist Philosopher. That's BITCHUTE.com/The Realist Philosopher, where you will find more than 1,600 pieces of content to date. That's right, 1,600 pieces. So copious red pills for you to choke on if you so choose, because they're big giant horse pill red pills, motherfucker. So go check that out. BitChute.com/The Realist Philosopher. Like, subscribe, and feel free to comment on my videos there. I could really use your support. Okay, back to the story. So this woman, she's dating a dude that makes 10 times less than her. Well, he's a simp. Because a dude with a woman that's earning 10 times what he's making, come on. She's got to be a very masculine broad to have that kind of success. What dude wants to be with a masculine broad except a simp? Except a beta male. He takes on the feminine role, she takes on the masculine one. Lovely. But anyway, let's see here. Let's get to the text. A woman has divided opinion after discovering that a man she's dating earns a lot less than her. Well, she shouldn't have a problem with it, and the relationship should work just fine because, women don't care about this kind of stuff, right? They want to be equal to a man, right? They don't care about how much money he makes. Yeah, right. Prompting some of her friends to say the relationship would never work. Of course not. They're all either in marriages that make them unhappy because they're with a simp as well, so they know that she wouldn't be happy with a simp, and they're just putting their time in until they can divorce that simp and get half his money and get alimony forever, and maybe pop out a kid or two and get child support for the next 18 years. Or, they just genuinely don't feel attracted to dudes that make less than them. They're single broads or divorced broads. It didn't work for them. It'll never work for her. It's certainly not going to work for her with you telling her it's not going to work for her. The anonymous mother took the British... Anonymous mother? Single mother? Notice they don't use that term, right? So an anonymous mother is dating a dude because it didn't say she's married. So she's not married to him. They use the term dating. An anonymous mother. Wow. This tells you all you need to know about how deluded women are. So some broad who is a single mom has friends telling her that a dude that she's dating isn't good enough. Let me explain something to you ladies. If you have a kid and you're single, you're a single mom. And if you're a single mom, you should be open and willing to dating the lowest of the low. I don't care how you view this person based upon their career, which generally speaking is how women judge men, by their ability to earn resources. I don't care if that dude, and by the way, they also tend to judge men nowadays because they're getting so much education in a classist way as well, meaning based upon what he does as a living and not what he makes, because there's a lot of dudes out there that are making six figures, but they're in the trades. He's a plumber. He's an electrician. Oh, he's so lowly. I make my money with my smarts. He's doing it through labor. Yeah, these are the same people who were spouting pinko commie propaganda in college. Commie propaganda talking about how important and necessary and wonderful the worker is. Yeah, they love the worker until they actually meet the worker face to face. Then it's like, oh, you're dirty. You're beneath me. I'm a college professor, motherfucker. How dare you think that your lowly plumber ass is on par with me? Yeah, plumber makes more money than a college professor, generally speaking. But I wonder what this broad does and what this dude does, that she makes 10 times more. By the way, lady, if this guy isn't good enough for you, who is? You're kind of pricing yourself out of the market, ain't you? So let me get this straight. You make so much money that some dude who probably makes an average salary, maybe he makes more than average, maybe she's making millions a year. Oh, you are setting yourself up for failure. I mean, how many dudes out there are going to make as much as a broad that's probably making $400,000 or $500,000 a year or more? She could be making over $1 million. Where are you going to meet a guy that wants to date a single mother that's making as much or more than you are, lady? Why don't you ask yourself that before you take the advice of your future spinster friends who are all losers in the romance department? She took to British parenting forum Mumsnet, where she revealed that the wage discrepancy doesn't bother her. Well, if it doesn't bother you, then you need to stick with this guy, because honestly speaking, you're lucky it doesn't bother you. Because if it did, you could plan on being single forever, which she ought to be, because she's a single mother. But God forbid women actually have consequences for their bad choices. But she said she has worried it could pose logistical issues in the future. Like what? What logistical issues? I might actually have to spend some of my money on him. In her post, she wrote, I just started dating a man, and it turns out I earn 10 times what he earns. So, I thought you're strong and independent, and you don't need no man. Yeah. They don't need no man, but, oh boy, for some reason, they keep wanting to get with guys. I don't need no man. I make lots and lots of money. Then why do you want to get with us? It's not a matter of need, it's a matter of want. Yeah. Keep telling yourself that, ladies. Yeah. Now I should start by saying that in theory, that this doesn't bother me at all. I come from very working class stock. Wow. Very working class stock. You mean the stock that keeps your lights on and built the fucking house that you live in and the car that you drive and makes your pampered life possible? That right there tells me she's an elitist cunt. We grew up on a council estate. It's basically where the poor people in Britain live, I guess. I don't know. Both my brothers, I guess, is that the equivalent to like public housing in America? Both my brothers are still living there with their families. I don't know. I was just lucky to be studious and got on a good path. Are you saying that being working class means you're not on a good path? Fuck you talking about, bitch? Yeah, I'd love to see this broad try to fix her broken toaster or TV. Right, people don't fix TVs anymore. They just throw them out and buy new ones. They're so cheap. It's amazing how the price of TVs continue to go down. Meanwhile, everything else continues to get more expensive. It's almost as if they want every person out there to have an idiot box. Well, of course they do. They got to be able to front load that propaganda directly into your brain. Yeah. Can't do that if we make TVs too expensive for the majority of people to afford. Yeah, they don't call it the idiot box for nothing. I've been divorced for a decade. Who told you to do that? Well, I've married the wrong man. Well, who told you to do that? And all the men I've dated have earned less than me, and it's never really been an issue. Yeah, most women have a problem with this, which is why they're all single. Meanwhile, this broad gets with a dude that she likes. Obviously, she likes him, because if she didn't like him, she wouldn't be with him, especially considering he makes less money, which I don't care what she said, is a strike against him in her mind, but she likes him enough to still be with him. And now she's searching for reasons to dump him. Brilliant. However, this is the first time the gap has been this big. Oh, well. Yeah. It's got to be an issue then, because your friend's Sato. Yeah. The sisterhood wants everyone else in it to be miserable. She added that the man still insists on paying for everything. What do you mean insists? You're a strong, independent woman. Nobody should be able to tell you what to do. He insists. Why would you let him pay? I think that if you insisted on paying for yourself, he would let you. What do you mean he insists? Yeah. Oh, wow. So automatically right here, she's contradicting herself. He's paying for everything. Of course, you don't have a problem with the wage gap, the earning gap. He's paying for everything. I bet if he didn't pay for everything, she'd have a problem. Yeah, that's why she doesn't have a problem. He's paying for everything. He pays for everything when we go out, and he's quite old-fashioned and more generous than anyone else I've dated. There you go. So he's traditional, and he pays for everything. Yeah. Oh, are you feeling guilty because he makes so much less money? Oh. You're not guilty enough to not take it. You're not feeling guilty enough to say, no, I can pay for myself. I'm a strong, independent woman who don't need no man. Her post continued, with the exception of the salary, we have tons in common. We both have 3 kids. Oh, no. He's a single father. Not the same stigma. 80% of divorces, 80% of breakups are initiated by women. And also, studies have been done which prove that there's no differential between children raised by a single-parent father and kids raised in a 2-parent household. Meanwhile, the kids raised by a single mother have tons of negatives. More likely to use drugs, more likely to shoplift, be a criminal in general, more likely to go to prison, more likely to self-delete, much more likely across the board. So they're not equal in that regard, for sure. So the stigma doesn't exist to be a single father for a reason. And one of them being because it's so rare. How often does the father get fucking custody unless the mommy dies or is a serial killer? Anyway, we both have 3 kids around the same ages, and we both have long-term dreams and interests and just get on brilliantly. And yet, you're going to fuck it up because he makes less money. You should be willing to date the dude that pumps gas. Is that still a thing? Why did they stop self-serve? Why did they stop, people pumping you gas, by the way? Remember, you go to the gas station, somebody would pump you gas, they would check your oil, and they would wipe down your windshield. What happened to that? Why was that made illegal? But that's the guy you should be happy to date. You should be happy to date anybody. Anybody that wants your ass, you should be happy, honey. You're a single mother. A couple of my friends have insisted it could never work, though. Yeah, it didn't work for them. And they don't want it to work for you. It did work for me. So it definitely can't work for you, because if it works for you and it didn't work for me, well, then I might be forced to face the realization that the problem was me. Can't have that. So I got to fuck it up for you. The concern is how it could work logistically in the long term. Well, what logistics? He's already paying for everything. What's the problem? I have a really nice lifestyle, all self-funded. What do you mean self-funded? He's paying for everything, bitch. He's paying for all the meals. He's paying for all the outings. He's paying for the gas. It's not all self-funded. And what's your excuse for taking his money? You'll make 10 times more. And although I'm not into designer brands or fancy restaurants, I do like to travel to nice places or be able to enjoy some of the things a higher salary allows. Like being able to jump in a taxi home rather than taking public transport. That kind of thing. I thought you came from a working class background. Shouldn't you be perfectly happy to take public transportation? No. Because these people don't practice what they preach. The woman said, well, by the way, I don't blame her for wanting to take a fucking taxi. How about that dude that just died recently in a chokehold because he was acting like a fucking wackadoo nut job? And the chokehold, by the way, was perfectly called for. The dude was acting nuts. He died in the course of being basically held in place because, people feared he was going to hurt somebody. But that's the kind of stuff that happens on public transportation. I don't blame her for that. The woman said that while she thinks it's lovely, he insists on paying, she feels guilty. You see, I called it. Why? Then you could just say, no, I don't want you to pay. I can pay for myself. Yeah. But you won't do that. So break up with him because you feel guilty. Just tell him, no, I can pay for myself. As it will put much more of a financial strain on him than on her. Okay. But she doesn't. If you insisted on paying for yourself, what do you think would happen? He'd break up with you? It's not so easy for a dude to find broads to date them either when he's got 3 kids and he's middle-aged, okay? Despite what women would like you to believe, they dislike single fathers just as much, if not more, than we dislike single mothers. Concluding the post, she wrote, so unsure what to do. I couldn't care less how much he earns. Really? He's a hard worker and a great person and a great Dad. Eh. Okay. So what's the problem? I do see that logistical issues may surface in the future. Like what? Though, and I'm not sure what to do about that. Why don't you tell us what those logistical issues are? In a later post, she added, he does have assets. He has a nice home. He's owned it for a long time. What's the problem then? Because deep down, I'm a traditional woman. I'm an actual woman. I have a biologically determined desire to be with a man that provides for me, even though I ascribe to the feminist ideology that says everything's a social construct, so I should just be able to talk myself out of these biologically determined desires and wants that I have. So I gaslight myself into believing that I'm perfectly okay with making 10 times more than he does. Yeah. He has kids who are in their teens and seem pretty happy. I haven't met them. Oh, you haven't met them? Jeez. But he tells me a lot about them. Yeah. She doesn't want to meet him because she doesn't want to bond too much with them because really, deep down, she's not okay with making 10 times more than he does, as much as she tries to virtue signal the opposite, because that's what her ideology tells her she should feel. He has kids. Yeah, okay, we already read that. I haven't asked too much about how he manages on his small salary. Small compared to yours, maybe, but is it really small? Or is he just prudent and good with his cash, and it's not actually small, but you make so much that the average, or even above average, seems small. It's small to you, maybe. As I don't want to make him uncomfortable, and yet you let him pay for everything! Numerous posters felt that the massive discrepancy in earnings could become an issue in the future. Of course. They want to sabotage you because it doesn't work for them, and they're more in touch, more in tune with their, urges and desires and, biologically determined desires at that. Yeah, they know. But you had to go and get yourself a career, didn't you, honey, and make all that money so that it would be almost impossible for you to be happy with somebody that makes less than you. I dated someone who earned at least 50% less than me. No desire to do anything more to earn more. Yeah. So, of course, it's his fault. He was lovely, and it was nice while it lasted, but I quickly realized I would need to make either sacrifices, then I didn't want to do that, and I didn't want to pay the lion's share on holidays, activities. So what are these? These are comments from people online, I guess. It's nice that he pays, and he sounds lovely, but think about long term. You're planning a holiday. You want to go to a 5-star long haul for 3 weeks, but his budget is 3-star. You people are worrying about such inconsequential things. Yet God forbid you get into a long-term relationship and you invest in the relationship, and that investment is in time and it's in effort and it's not in dollars. No. Everything's about money. Everything's got to be about money, right? Because you fuck so many guys, you can't pair bond and build anything meaningful unless it's based upon cashola. Do I want to read all these comments? Well, why not? Yeah. Maybe my opinion is skewed, but a lifetime of relationships with low-earning, low-ambition men who seem lovely to begin with, but end up thoroughly taking the piss and wringing me dry financially. Maybe he's lovely, but just be careful, OP. It wouldn't be the money that's the issue for me, but aspiration. Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, we don't know what this guy does. We don't know what kind of salary he makes. We don't know if she makes $100,000 a year and he only makes $10,000, which isn't likely because you couldn't raise 3 kids on that. Or if he makes $100,000 and she makes $1 million. I mean, if he's making $100,000 a year, he's already in the top, 5% of earners? Oh, but compared to her, we don't even know what this guy does, but apparently, he must lack aspiration. I doubt I would have much in common with someone earning a very small amount, maybe part-time with no drive in their career, assuming that to be the case. Not that there is anything wrong with that. Yeah, obviously there is something wrong with that because you're saying there's something wrong with that. I just don't think we'd work as a couple. I earn quite a chunk of money than my DH, but he has a good job. He's proud of it. He has an impact. It's important. You're not tooting your own horn here. You're not humble bragging here. It's just not as well paid as my career. The disparity in pay causes nuisances. Oh. Next comment. Date yes, marry no. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, I would agree with that one. He needs to avoid her. Well, then again, Maybe he should marry her. She makes so much more money that if it don't work out, he can divorce her and get alimony. Yeah. Which is, by the way, a big part of the reason why women don't want to marry a dude that makes less than them. They don't want to be put in the very situation that they more often than not, 98% of the time, when it comes to alimony, put men in when they divorce them. And the overwhelming majority of the time, the reason a woman will divorce a man is either because she gets bored and is incentivized to leave him because she's going to get most of the money and he makes more to begin with, or he might begin to, or does begin to make less than her. And she wants to get out of that situation as quickly as possible. Yeah. But this is why women do not get with dudes that make less than them in terms of marriage. Yeah, then he might take advantage of those incentives when it comes to a spouse that makes more and dump her ass later on and get half her shit. Can't have that. Yeah. Can't have that. But when a woman wants to do that to a guy, oh, she's strong and empowered and exercising her options. Yeah. And getting out of an oppressive relationship. Because, of course, all marriages are oppressive to women, that is. Not to men, of course. No. He was lovely. It was nice while it lasted, but I quickly realized I would need to make other sacrifices and not do what I would like or pay the lion's share always in terms of holidays. Okay. So these are all the comments I just read. Third person added, maybe my opinion is skewed by a lifetime. Okay, I've already read all these comments. So, anyway, a number of other posters felt that money isn't everything. And that if she likes the man, she should continue to see him. Yeah, just not marry him. Yeah. One wrote, I would in your position stay with him. Money shouldn't dictate everything. I'd far rather take the bus with the man I love than go home alone in a taxi. You might have to make some adjustments and compromise, but that's true in any relationship. And he'll have to learn to let you treat him. Yeah, notice that she hasn't insisted that she flip the bill. Yeah. Because her money's her money. And his money's her money. Another added money is just money. If you like him, for him, that's what matters, surely. Yeah. In theory, but in practice, no. And a third said this is probably skewed by the fact that I'm not a high earner, but this sounds completely bonkers to me. There are literally no red flags about this man. I can't work out what the issue is. He's solvent, a homeowner, pays his way and yours, and has a great relationship with his kids and has loads in common with you, is respectful. Any problems are currently fictitious. Well, they're manufactured by her very chatty, undermining, sisterhood, miserable friends who want company in their misery. So there you go. There you go. Even when a woman finds a dude that she has everything in common with and it's a great relationship, she will struggle to find some way to undermine her own happiness and well-being. Proof is in the motherfucking pudding. This woman's found the perfect fucking dude by her own estimation, and she still can't be happy because he makes less than her. Even though she protests that she could care less. Well, she could care less, then she wouldn't write this. And she wouldn't be professing concerns about logistics down the road. Yeah. Guys, if she makes more than you, it's doomed from the start. Okay? And by the way, again, the only way a broad is going to make this much money is she's more masculine, more disagreeable. Who wants to be with a woman like that? Oh, beta males. So there you go. There you go. Proof is in the pudding. There's the truth. Her money's her money. Your money's her money. Even though she supposedly feels awfully guilty about letting him pay, she doesn't stop him, does she? And she could, but she doesn't. Because she wants to keep the fruits of her labor, but doesn't want him to keep the fruits of his, even though he makes 10 times less than she does. There you go. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Is this pretty much how almost all women are? Oh, they all like this. There's their continued need, want, and desire to make ever more money, to be ever more independent, make them ever less dateable, and far more likely to spend the rest of their lives alone as bitter cat ladies who end up being eaten by their pets when they die. Are women like this far more likely, because how much money they make, to be one of those wankadoo, pathetic broads that puts shoes on their cats and takes them out on a leash for a walk and treats them like real human children and uses those fucking pets as a stand-in for kids that they never had? Of course, this broad has kids, so. But you know what I mean. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And please like and subscribe to my BitChute channel if you have not already. bitchute.com/The Realist Philosopher. That's bitchute.com/The Realist Philosopher. Let me know what you think of this future miserable, single till she dies, gonna be eaten by her pets, cat lady. Subscribe to my BitChute channel. I can really use your support.